everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grammar, episode 15, Potable Water. And today we're studying relative pronouns. What are the relative pronouns? Do you know? The relative pronouns are where, that, which, who, whose. Why do we use relative pronouns? Well, we use relative pronouns in order to link and connect two sentences together. So, if we have two sentences and we need to connect them together, we're going to use the relative pronouns. Today, we are focusing on who and which. So, when do we use who? We use who for people. And when do we use which? Well, we use which for things and animals. We use which for referring to things and animals, and we use who for referring to people. Let us learn more. Let's start with who. That is the boy who likes reading books. How did we connect those two sentences together? Well, we used who. Why did we use who? Well, we used who because the boy is people, and we use who for people. That is the man who fishes in the sea every day. Now, how did we connect those sentences together? We used who. Why? Because of the man, people. So with people, we use who. A journalist is someone who works for a newspaper. We used who. Why did we use who? Because we have a journalist. A journalist, people, who for people. Now let's move on to which. John has got a new book, which is very interesting. How did we connect those two sentences? Well, we used which. Why did we use which? Can you tell? We used which because we have a new book. A new book is a thing. A book is a thing. And we use which for things. My sister saw a group of dogs which were so hungry. What did we use here? We used which. Why did we use it? Because we have a group of dogs. Dogs are animals, and we use which for animals. A hat is something which you wear on your head. We used which here. Why? Because of a hat. A hat is a thing, and we use which for things. Now remember, we used who for people, and we use which for things or animals. Now test yourself. Join the following sentences. This is a car. Full stop. I like it most. Full stop. How are we going to connect those two sentences together? Well, we're going to use the relative pronouns. What are we going to use? We have a car. A car is a thing. This is a car which I like most. We used which. Why did we use which? Because of the car, a thing. Now notice that we joined the two sentences with which, then put a full stop at the end. We removed the full stop in the middle and we changed it for which to connect the two sentences together. This is another example. Here is a man, full stop. He told me a story. Join the following sentences. First, we're going to remove the full stop in the middle. We're going to use a relative pronoun. Here is a man. Here is the man who told me the story. Who? We used who. Why? because of the man. The man is people, and we use who for people. Notice we join the two sentences with who, then put a full stop at the end. So don't forget to drop the pronoun and the full stop to add the relative pronoun who. Now let's move on to imperatives. What does imperative mean? Imperatives are sentences that are used for giving orders, instructions, and advice. Sit down, listen, research, bring the books, think, tie your shoes. So we use imperatives when we want to give orders or instructions or advice. Don't use a lot of water when you have a bath. Here we gave an order and we use don't. Don't use a lot of water. Stop talking in class. Here we also gave an order. Stop talking in class. So imperatives can be in an affirmative sentence or in a negative sentence. We can say don't use a lot of water. We can say stop using a lot of water. Brush your teeth twice a day. Also an order. Never drink fizzy drinks. Always drink juice and milk. Don't eat fast food. We can also use must and mustn't. So you must wear a mask. You must wash your hands. You mustn't speak loudly. You must brush your teeth before going to bed. Dala must clean her room. Here we used must and we used clean as the verb. We mustn't forget to turn off the lights before we leave. Now test yourself. Remember, we use imperatives to give advice or orders, and we can say don't, never, always, or you can use must or mustn't. Choose the correct answer. You must follow the school rules. Don't, didn't, doesn't write on the walls. Switch off, switching off, switched off the lights before leaving the class. Listen, listened, listening carefully to your teachers. Now let's check your answers. You must follow the school rules. Don't write on the walls. Here we use don't because it's an imperative. We're giving an order and we are using the verb in its root form, do. We don't use didn't or doesn't. Switch off the lights before leaving the class. The imperative here is switch off because switch is in its root form. We're not going to use switching or switched. Before leaving the class. Listen. Here, it's an imperative. We're giving an order. Listen carefully to your teachers. Now, try and do it yourself. Student book, page 38, exercise 7. Choose which or who. 1. Kuwait has desalination plants. Who, which are expensive to build. Here we have desalination plants. So what are we going to use? Who or which? Remember, who is for people and which is for things or animals. So what are you going to use? Desalination plants. What are desalination plants? It's a thing. And that's why we are going to use which. Kuwait has desalination plants which are expensive to build. 2. People who, which, live in some poor countries do not have clean water. Again, who is for people, which is for things or animals. People live in some poor countries. people. So with people, we're going to use who. People who live in some poor countries do not have clean water. 3. That's the man which fishes in the sea every day. The man. The man is people, and with people, what do we use? We use who. So that's the man who fishes in the sea every day. 4. I've got a new book, which is very interesting. It's about the sea. Who or which is for things, and who is for people. And here we have a new book. A new book is what? Is a thing. So we're going to use which. I've got a new book, which is very interesting. It's about the sea. 5. Ali is the boy which washed the car. The boy. Ali is the boy. So people. What do we use for people? We use for people who. Ali is the boy who washed the car. Now, you can also do your student book, page 39, exercise 8. Join the sentences together. Remember, we use who for people. A journalist is someone who works for a newspaper. We use which for things. A hat is something which you wear on your head. 1. There's the man. He told me a funny story. Here we have 2 sentences, and we need to connect them together. So what are we going to use? Who or which? There's the man. The man is people, so we're going to use who. There's the man who told me a funny story. What else did we do? The pronoun he. We dropped it when we connected these 2 sentences together using who. There's the man who told me a funny story. We cannot say, there's the man who he told me a funny story. 2. That's the new computer game. It's a great fun to play. Let's connect those 2 sentences. The new computer game. Is it a thing or a people? It's a thing. So what are we going to use? We're going to use which for things. A computer game. That's the new computer game, which is great fun to play. Remember, we dropped the pronoun it. That's the new computer game, which is great fun to play. They are the teachers. They teach us English. Let's connect those 2 sentences. So the teachers. The teachers, so we're going to use who. They are the teachers who teach us English. What did we do? We connected the 2 sentences by using who. What else did we do? We dropped the full stop. What else did we drop? We dropped they, the pronoun. 4. Those are the cats. They always sleep in my garden. The cats. Cats are animals. What do we use with animals? Who or which? We use which. So those are the cats which always sleep in my garden. Now let's move on to your workbook. You need to do, you can do page 30, exercise 5. Complete the sentences. Use who or which and your own ideas. Remember, we use who for people, a journalist is someone who works for a newspaper, and we use which for things. A hat is something which you wear on your head. Examples, they have to build desalination plants which are very expensive. I have got a friend who likes scuba diving. So we're going to complete the sentences, and we're going to use which or who, and you're going to use your own ideas. 1. I have got a friend. Here we have a friend, so we're going to use who. I have got a friend who is a journalist. Kuwait is a country. Country is a thing, and that's why we're going to use which. Kuwait is a country which has desalination plants. A giraffe is an animal. With animals, we use which. A giraffe is an animal which lives in Africa. I have got a teacher. A teacher, people, and with people we use who. I have got a teacher who is excited and exciting at the same time. There are some people in my class. Some people. There are some people. So with people we use who. There are some people in my class who are creative too. In this episode, we learned how to join sentences using relative pronouns who and which. Use imperatives in affirmative and negative forms. Thank you for watching.